Well, revenge isn't always as sweet as we think it's going to be, but one thing that is always sweet is hearing stories about revenge. And one man who scours the deepest, darkest crevices for stories you will hear nowhere else is nationally syndicated radio talk show host Joe Messina. Joe, welcome to Smart Life.
Well, Dr. Gina, thanks for having me on.
Of course.
Boy, it takes guts to put me on, doesn't it?
I never know where you're going. Let's just say.
You're doing a show about revenge, and you bring on an Italian that grew up in Boston?
What was
Seriously?
I thinking? Producer Jason, what were you thinking?
I did Dr. Paterno. I mean, he's a nice guy. You know what I'm saying? He's a nice guy. I'm not so nice.
Well, then this will definitely be a fun segment. So you have stories of different kinds of revenge that people can take, some advisable, some not so advisable. One woman got ripped off by a contractor. So tell us what she did.
Can I short circuit you in this one? I want to tell you a personal one. I didn't tell Jason about this, so I'm just telling you about it. Just between you and me, okay?
Okay.
Years ago, when I wasn't such a nice guy as I am today, I worked for a large broadcasting company, and the head of that broadcasting company decided to fire the whole computer department when he got off the plane because he read about outsourcing. We were so upset, we found out that we had his American Express number. And at the time, the internet was just coming into play. So what we did is we sat down for 2 hours and we ordered every pornographic magazine known to mankind and sent it to his house. And we signed him up for every, porn show on the internet that was available at that time.
Joe Messina, you are a revenge seeker, aren't you?
Well, wait a minute. I heard you yipping away at the fact that, you're one of those that bounces off the walls and said someone should pay for that. But I can only imagine what his wife must have been thinking when those things were coming to the house every single day.
Oh, man. Now, did you afterwards, be honest, did you feel good or did you feel some guilt or?
I was a bit younger, so yes, I felt very good about it for quite some time. But later on in life, I thought it was. I knew it was wrong.
Okay, so when you are ripped off by a contractor, do you want to do what this woman did? Tell us about that.
Well, getting what this woman did is after she got ripped off, she decided to go ahead and get a website name with this fellow's name on it, with the contractor's name on it, and then she started putting all kinds of wonderful, nasty stuff about him up there on the website. And would I have done that today? Oh man, but I would have done Facebook and Twitter and what is that, Instagram and Overgram and Undergram. I would have done them all.
I enjoy Yelp for that reason. I go on Yelp, and if I have a waiter who's rude to me or a waiter who's really nice to me or a hotel that, I don't know, puts a $4,000 hold on my charge because I'm going to be there for a couple of days, and they think I might ransack the room, then, I use Yelp as my little outlet, and I have a lot of fun with it. But revenge porn, it's like the big thing going on right now, right?
Well, we just talked about that, didn't I? That's what I said. But this is a little different than what I did, thank God. So after this breakup of this wonderful couple, the woman said that their private moments were photographed. Now, first I have to say, would you really, I don't know if I should ask this question, but would you really allow your boyfriend, I don't know, maybe your husband or wife might be a little different, but your boyfriend or girlfriend to photograph or videotape your sexual escapade, so to speak?
People do that all the time. I mean, it's like a star a week, right? Her tape is released, right? All the time. But anyway.
Oh, you hear about? I always, when I first started hearing about these kind of things, I went, wait a minute, who videotapes themselves? I don't want to see all 3.5 minutes of my performance. It's not that exciting. But anyway, the revenge porn thing to me is just hilarious because. Where did she think that stuff was going to go? Where did she think when they started fighting, did she really think he was just going to come in and go, oh, honey, I'm sorry we're having a bad time, and since we're going to call it quits, let me just give you back all these wonderful pictures I have of you that I can make a lot of money with.
Yeah, I don't get why people don't get that either, especially teenagers. Like, they've got to know, like, they have a future out there, and they shouldn't be doing things like that, and that ultimately, like with the sexting I'm talking about, and ultimately that's going to come back. One woman took revenge on her cheating husband by posting an ad in the newspaper?
This is great. But this you got to give. This is not nasty revenge. This was so classic. She puts an ad to paper, and I don't have to get it up on the screen. I'd like to say congratulations to Shara Cremier and Patrick Brown. They're expecting a baby. Hope you both are really in love. I hope it works out. Always, Patrick's wife.
I'm surprised the newspaper took the ad, but I got to say that's pretty crafty.
I thought that was great. It's like some of these other things we're going to go over in a bit, where they put billboards up and ads like that. I think that's great too. What a way to show your cheating other half that it isn't right and it's embarrassing. And if they think what they're doing is right, they wouldn't be so embarrassed about it, right?
Okay, so I love this one because I hate United Airlines for what they did to me on my last flight. They ruined my brand new suitcase, Joe, and I was so angry about it. I never want to check my bag, but they made me check it. You know, they didn't have room on the plane. How they pull that? And I just wanted to ask you about this singer-songwriter Dave Carroll.
He sounds like a pretty good guy, but he his $3,500 guitar. I mean, I know he's a craftsman. It's his tool. I get it. I would have never checked that. I would have bought a seat for that guitar. I'm not putting all the blame on him.
That's a good point.
You know, there's just some things like, you know, when you take some of your stuff on a plane with you, it goes under the seat in front of you. Don't let it go. But just, you know, these guys are going to mishandle this. But just think about the drop. He caused, what was it, $180 million? I think it was. In the stock prices dropping after he posted all this up, posted his response up on YouTube. And it shows you how important, I don't think these companies realize how important YouTube and social media is to their financial or fiscal well-being.
Exactly. No, I agree with that. And I love it because there really is a new level of accountability with some of these websites, you know, that will let you do those kinds of critiques. I think that's great. And it's gone so far that some genius entrepreneur started a business. I think I might do this. Tell us what he sold.
Dead bouquet flowers.
And dead fish. I want to see the dead fish. I have like 10 people that needs to go to.
Yeah, you didn't in the front end of the show, you obviously didn't grasp onto the fact that I'm Italian. The fish thing's been done. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But you got to let it sit under the car for a while, you know, in the back seat of his car before you tell him where it is. That's even better. Now
I have a use for all the fish heads that my kids catch at the pier. All right, the junk email king. Tell us about that.
Well, I see now. You know that I came out of the computer world. And the junk email stuff is just great because the bottom line with that is that you end up this guy actually was the guy that filled up your mailbox on a regular basis. He filled up all kinds of mailboxes on a regular basis. The guy you hated for doing this. Now he's been signed up to so many websites that he's being flooded with hundreds and hundreds of pounds of junk mail each day. But he's getting real mail, which I just think is wonderful. I think that's really the way to do it.
That's really
you go in and you sign these people up and you click the box that says, don't email me, send me snail mail. I think that's wonderful.
And then somebody else bought billboards. You wanted to tell us about that?
Well, that was the one, you know, when I was talking earlier, and we've seen this in L.A. This particular story where's this out of? Where is this out of? Oh, it's one of Obama's aides, the spurned mistress of one of Obama's top economic advisors. Oh, yeah. Because they have this in English. It's 150,000 pounds. If somebody can figure that out, let me know. But she put up the posters up on the corner of these large buildings, and we've seen this done here in Los Angeles as well. You know, and it's really embarrassing. She put their pictures up there, pictures of both the couples up there. And you know, how do you say that wasn't me?
Yeah,
at that point in time.
Yeah.
New York, Atlanta, and San Francisco. You can't wiggle out of that one.
No, pretty much no. No. And we can't really talk about revenge without talking about Monica Lewinsky. Do tell.
That's just disgusting. Every time I come back to that, I can't get the dress and the cigar and all that stuff out of my head. But anyway, she's coming out with a book. But what took her so long?
I know.
That's what I want to know. I would have done this years ago while things were still hot and, you know, she was trying to sell handbags and all that stuff. But she's going to publish secret love letters to Clinton revealing his insatiable desire, can I say it? Is this a family show? For threesomes and how he trashed Hillary. My God! But I like the timing. I don't know how you feel about it. We're coming up on 2016.
It will definitely make the presidential election all the more interesting, to be sure. And we can't really have a revenge show though either without mentioning John and Lorena Bobbitt.
Yeah, but what can you say?
I don't really know what we can say, but I just felt like it wasn't fulfilled if we cut that out of the show. So yeah, we had to say
all right. But I'm not going into detail. You feel free if you'd like. But yeah, that was probably the ultimate revenge, I would say. But hey, but think about something. He ended up in the porn movies after that.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah, the guy. Yeah, some people will do anything for attention, and I think that's the whole thing with Monica Lewinsky too. Is I think that her name's not in the limelight anymore, and she probably wants some cash, and you know, who can blame her?
The money's going to be good. She's coming up on 40 years old, and I don't know what she's been doing. I know her bag line or her handbag line failed tremendously.
So there you go. So it's over. Thank you so much for being on the show, Joe.